1.5 public comments. We do have one public comment presentation from AEP Texas, Mr. Jimmy Ernest, in regards to the AEP Foundation donation to the South Texas Food Bank for Dimmit County. So at this time, we'd like to call you guys forward. We're going to do a small presentation. Ms. Hernandez, we can come forward for the check presentation and a picture with the Commissioner's Court. Thank you, Martin.
Can I use that for the kickoff?
He wants to know if we can put that seal.
Well, if you cross the double it.
All right.
Marky, where is the mic, Marky?
This weekend.
So just wanted to introduce myself real quick. My name's Jimmy Ernest. I'm with AEP Texas. I'm the External Affairs Manager for this area. And the AEP Foundation donates to communities for education, social justice, and other needs in the communities that we serve. And this year we donated several to several of the food banks that cover counties that we serve. We've done donations to the South Texas Food Bank and the San Antonio Food Bank, and we continue to try to, be a part of the community and support those in need. I think everybody in this room understands the financial crunches that we're in. The food banks are really pressed to serve the people in need, so we're here to help, and we want, proud to be a part of the community. I'd like to thank the judge and all the commissioners and all of you for being here today and allowing us to present this to the community. Thank you very much.
And Mr. Ernest, on behalf of Dimmit County, myself, the Judge Martha Ponce, and the Commissioners, we do want to thank you wholeheartedly for your service and your public service to our community. We do have Maribel. Where are you, Maribel? She is our sanitation. She's kind of the one that spearheads our food bank here in Dimmit County. She's kind of the person of contact. So thank you, Maribel, also for everything that you do for Dimmit County. But I can't thank you guys enough. As you mentioned, I know that we're all here for public service, and your contribution to our county will just go back to our community in servicing our constituents. So thank you so very much for your contribution to Dimmit County and for the continuous work that you guys do for not only Dimmit County, but I know for other counties as well. So thank you once again. I greatly appreciate that. Thank you. We have another public comment by Commissioner Juan Carmona.
Judge, it was brought up to my attention that text that doesn't put those culverts to get them to 85 or 83. It's up to the county now. And I wanted to know how we can go about it so we can install some of them. So we have a chance, maybe you and Mr. Gonzalez can come up with an idea how we can do that. Because they're no longer doing them in a lot of the entrances to the ranches or in that shape. I just don't want to do something that's going to be illegal and then.
You get arrested. Okay. Any other public comment? There's no other public comments. I will move on to 1.6, approval of minutes of regular meeting of June 17th, July 1st, and July 12th, 2024.
Motion to approve subject to no corrections. Or any corrections, sorry.
Are there any corrections? I have a motion by Commissioner Alonso Carmona. Is there a second?
Second.
I have a second by Commissioner Uranda. Any further comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. 2.1, approval of bonds.
No bonds,
We have no bonds, no action. 2.2, discussion and appropriate action, discussion on rental for fire station building for activities other than firefighting. This particular item was requested to be on the agenda by our county auditor. As you can well see that our county auditor is not here today. Just a quick insight, I'm sure Mr. Carmona, Commissioner Alonso Carmona, that Mr. Pereira, I guess, briefly talked to you about this.
Yes, ma'am. He wants to, since we had been using the fire station for fundraisers at one time on the previous administration, it was discussed in Commissioner's Court that it would, since it was a public service use, that there was no fee to be charged. However, we needed to have a waiver. That's all they requested, so the waiver's here. So whoever's gonna use it is responsible for whatever happens at the fire station. At no time there was any discussion of any fees or anything like that. When this young lady called me, wanting to use it for a car wash, was several times I had reached out to Mr. Pereira. And since we never had a car wash at the fire station, I didn't know how to go about it. One of the things that, when I talked to Mr. Pereira on the day that we had our luncheon, he said that it couldn't be used for car washes. Then later on, during the week or so, then he said that we needed to charge. So it was, I don't know what transpired, where he clearly told me no, and then he comes back and says, we need to charge a fee. So that is what we're discussing. And right now, if the court, this young lady, I called her back, or she called me and then I texted her, and she suggested that she would put it on the agenda, and I said, go ahead and see what the court decides. So we're here to see what are we gonna do? Are we gonna go with the fee or set a fee or leave it as it is? But apparently we can leave it without charging somebody something.
Well, I think my distinct understanding in speaking to Mr. Pereira, obviously it's unfortunate that he's not here today to advise the court on his position from a auditor standpoint, but my distinct understanding from speaking to Mr. Pereira was that because we are a county governmental entity, that Dimmit County, as you well are aware of the situation with Mr. Uranda and the cemetery situation, and I understand that albeit in the past, in the previous administration with the previous judge, you were allowed to do some actions that perhaps were questionable, but they occurred. And I agree 100% that we're here for a public service, and I have absolutely no problem with our constituents using our facilities. I think that that's exactly what they're for, is so that our constituents use our facilities. There's no point in having a sports complex, a baseball complex, a fire station, or whatever other facility we have just sitting there so that I guess the people could swing by and look at how pretty it is. I think that if it's meant to be used, then it should be used. However, as I mentioned to you, from my distinct understanding from what Mr. Pereira told me, is that as per the law and as per the governmental statutes and for his auditing reports, we must charge even if it's a minimal amount. Nonetheless, he's not here to advise as to what particular government statute he has on that. So at this time, I'm going to motion to table this item so that we can get further clarification as to what his position is. I am on the side, of course, we're not going to vote today, but I'm on the side that if we have the opportunity to allow our constituents to use the facilities, why not let them use the facilities? However, I'm just one vote, so I'm going to motion to table if I can entertain a second.
Second.
I have a second by Commissioner Uranda. Any other discussion?
Judge,
Yes, sir.
being that, we'll be from the next item, but,
Mhm.
how are we gonna work this if it all goes to, am I gonna do the scheduling or? and
I think that,
then,
I think we can discuss that at that time, Commissioner. I think for right now, I would advise to continue the practice that you're having,
Okay,
and continue the practice that you're having until that we can have something. I mean, I'm not gonna question that your previous administration here allowed for you guys to use it for a public service without charging or without requiring a deposit. And I believe that the previous administration and you guys voted that as long as there was a waiver in file, they could continue to use it. And I'm not gonna question that, so we're just gonna go ahead and continue with that practice until I can have our auditor here to advise me of the statute and the government code that says to the contrary.
okay. I had one more, like I said,
You have one more what?
comment, but.
Go ahead.
I had a senior moment, so I'll remember something.
You left your mind?
Yes, I lost gigabytes,
Okay.
but we're good.
Any other comment? No? All in favor? Any opposition? Motion carries. 2.3, I'm also going to request for the item to be tabled unless you want to move forward with it, Commissioner.
Judge, I would like to table this item, not because of anything with the charge or anything like that, but we need to figure out a way to see how the car wash is gonna be handled, because we only have one entrance, one exit. And if there's a call, how are the firemen gonna enter the parking to respond to
We
a
just
call?
need to look at the logistics of it,
Yes, ma'am.
yes. I have a motion to table by Alonso Carmona, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Uranda. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. 2.4, discussion and appropriate action, approval for interlocal agreement between the City of Asherton and Dimmit County. This particular item, gentlemen, is again a formality. It is a interlocal agreement with the City of Asherton. It is a yearly agreement. It does expire June 30th of 2025. Your normal language is on there regarding mutual aid and assistance.
Motion to approve.
I have a motion by
Subject-
Commissioner Alonso Carmona.
Subject to any changes that
Yes, sir. And do I have a second? I have a second by Commissioner Uranda. Any further discussion? All in favor? Any opposition? Motion carries. 2.5, discussion and appropriate action, approval of MOU between the Carrizo Springs CISD and Dimmit County. Again, ladies or gentlemen, this is a agreement between the city of, the county of Dimmit County, and the Carrizo Springs Consolidated Independent School District. As you will aware, last year we had a situation in which the school ran into a problem regarding the water leak system supply. We were fortunate enough that Commissioner Uranda was able to work closely with the school district after some loops we had to take, and in an abundance of caution at the time there was not a MOU, and we are going to do that now as a formality, again for mutual aid for the school district. This is a yearly contract as well. I'm going to add a section 5 to include the term to begin July 1st, 2024 through June 30th, 2025. Are there any other questions? I'll entertain a motion. Motion by Commissioner Juan Carmona, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Uranda. All in favor? Yes, sir.
I had a question. Can I ask Mr. Gonzalez?
Go ahead.
Mr. G, or Ms. Gonzalez, have you looked at this mutual motion?
Looking at it for the first time today, I'm not provided the contracts in advance of Commissioner Court. And I'm missing the last page, it looks like. It's not in the packet.
Is it 3 pages short?
Yes, 3 pages is what I have.
The last page, the signature page, one?
That's correct.
Running through it real quick, it seems to imply that if we implement like we did last time with the water situation, the emergency management situation, then the emergency manager, the county judge in this case, or the assistant would make those calls, because the last situation, they wanted to force the water open without testing it, and we didn't feel that it was safe for the kids. So I advised the county judge at the time to make that call to keep it shut until we have the testing, because I didn't want any kids getting sick after the breakage of that pipeline. So the only thing I would add, if anything, is that if the emergency management is activated, then the school district is not to interfere with the county's decisions in any emergency matters.
I am going to amend and request a motion to table this item so that I can make those changes and also discuss with the school, because I'm looking at the contract again, and it does, I mean, the MOU, and it does have a period of 5 years. That was not an item that was discussed.
Now, there should also be a contract or a memorandum of understanding year to year.
That's why I want to correct it and I want to change it. Commissioner Juan, you had motion to approve this item. I'm going to respectfully request if you will agree to motion to table this item so that the county judge can have further discussions with the school district so that we can
Yes, ma'am.
be on the same platform. I have a motion to table by Commissioner Juan Carmona. Commissioner Odena, are you still going to second that item? Second by Commissioner Odena. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. 2.6, discussion and appropriate action, presentation of the annual Dimmit County local match commitment requirement for FY 2025 for Camino Real Community Services.
Good morning, Judge.
Good morning.
My name is Ana Zamora. I'm the Associate Mental Health Director for Camino Real. Camino Real Community Services, of course, is the local mental health authority that provides mental health and substance use services to individuals in Dimmit County. We also provide intellectual and development disability services and early childhood intervention services to babies 0 to 3 years old. Because Camino Real is partially funded by the state of Texas, the sponsoring counties are required to match a percentage of the general revenue funding. Dimmit County has been a strong support of Camino Real in past years and has worked closely with us to ensure that individuals in the county receive the services they need. Camino Real Community Services is asking for the county's continued support for the fiscal year 2025. Included in your packet is a graph on the 9 counties that we serve and the various in-kind requirements that are required by each county. Some counties do provide in-kind match in cash donation, but other counties provide in-kind match in allowing us to use their buildings as well. So you'll see that. Also attached, Judge, is our 2024 third quarter report, which is a summary of our services that we provided throughout this last fiscal year. We provide crisis response services. We have a crisis residential unit. Well, we have 2 crisis residential units that are located in Maverick County and Lytle, Texas, for individuals that are experiencing mental health crisis that can go and get immediate psychiatric services, case management services, counseling services, and medication. We also have our local clinic located in Zavala County. You will also see in this summary of all the counties we serve, which include Atascosa, Dimmit, Frio, Karnes, LaSalle, Maverick, McMullen, Wilson, and Zavala counties. Also attached is our unduplicated individuals served within each county. The first one being IDD, and then the next one being early childhood intervention. And then the next one is veteran services and mental health services. We also, like I said, mentioned we do crisis services, so we have a 24-hour crisis hotline available to the public. And you'll see the amount of calls that have come in, and out of those calls, how many hospitalizations occurred. And then you'll also see the statistics on our crisis residential units. Slowly but surely, our crisis residential units are serving more and more individuals as individuals become aware of that facility and the services we provide. Included in the packet, Judge, is the match requirement for Dimmit County. And we've been instructed to get 2 copies, one of course for to remain with you, Judge, and then one for us to return. Any questions?
Go ahead, Commissioner.
Ma'am, I think this comes up budget time, not right now.
Okay.
I think you'll be scheduled to meet with the judge, so you all can discuss it at budget time. So therefore, I'm gonna ask to table it until you all get together and decide what you're all done.
Commissioner Juan took the words right out of my mouth.
Okay.
Because I was going to advise you is that in reading your letter and reading all the information and in the discussion, I understand that for purposes of your facilities and your organization and agency, determination needs to be had by August the 31st. We are in the process of setting up all the budget workshop meetings, meet individually with each elected official and each agency. And it's at that point that I will discuss with you in regards to our budget and what the amount is that Dimmit County has, and discuss other matters with you and our auditor. So we will take this into consideration. I'll take it into consideration and then have my staff reach out to you with the time and the date so that we can set up a meeting, for that particular issue. Okay?
All right.
Thank you so
Judge.
much. I appreciate it.
Judge, if I may, I have a question. I heard the list of services, but in the past, and one service you didn't mention, people with mental illnesses, you're still helping with guardianships?
Like legal advice or?
There was a gentleman from Carrizo, but was it being housed in Eagle Pass? So he was living there for 3 months. They applied, the department applied for a guardianship in Dimmit County. So that had to be transferred back to Maverick County because now he was an established resident of Maverick County. So is the department still assisting our community with guardianships for people with mental illnesses that have nobody to care for them? I know that the casework in that case was looking at the appointment because he couldn't find a family member who was willing to assist that individual.
We definitely try to collaborate with other agencies, APS, CPS, on those situations. We ourselves will try and make the connection, but we don't do the legal work of guardianship. So like our staff cannot become legal guardians or.
That was my concern at the
Yes,
time.
yes.
And they were looking for someone in Dimmit County, but because they were housing in a little mobile home in Maverick County, used to live in Dimmit County, then jurisdiction had to be transferred to Maverick County.
Right, no, so we assist with trying to coordinate the services, but we ourselves do not apply for those kind of guardianship from our staff.
But they assist with
Right,
services.
it's coordinated.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Uh-huh.
I have a motion to table by Commissioner Juan Carmona. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Urenda. Any further discussion? All in favor? Motion carries. Ms. Zamora, my office will be contacting your office.
Okay.
Thank you, Ms.
Thank
Zamora.
you.
You guys have a good day.
You too.
2.7, discussion and appropriate action, approval to accept a resale bid on trustee property to wit lot 5, block 13 of the East Side Addition, City of Carrizo Springs, Texas, Tax Office, Property ID 12753, Tax Suit 09-02-02436-GTX, City of Carrizo Springs versus Federico Medina. Commissioners, I have advised with our legal counsel in regards to this item, and I am going to request that there be a motion to table. Motion by Commissioner Alonso Carmona. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Urenda. Any further discussion? All in favor? Any opposition? Motion carries. 2.8, discussion and appropriate action, approval to accept a resale bid on trustee property to wit lot 12, block 17 of the Vivian Heights Addition, City of Carrizo Springs, Dimmit County, Texas, Tax Office, Property ID number 13917, Tax Suit 12-12-02534 DTX, Carrizo Springs CISD versus Fred Murray, deceased. Again, I am going to ask for a motion to table this item to further discuss this particular agenda item. I have a motion by Commissioner Alonso Carmona.
Second.
second by Commissioner,
Urieta, Commissioner
excuse
Urieta.
me. I have a motion by Commissioner Urenda, and I have a second by Commissioner Alonso Carmona. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. 2.9, discussion and appropriate action, approval for private sale of property account number 13040. We have Purdue.
Yes, Judge, good morning. I was sorry to be branded.
Questions for item 2.9? Any questions?
I go.
There's a question by Commissioner Alonso Carmona.
Oh, never mind, I got confused with the bidding and then what it was bid.
This is just to approve a private sale, correct?
That's correct, Your Honor. We're just
It hasn't
recommending.
been bidded on yet.
Yes, so a private resale, this is the private resale bid of $3,000 for this particular property that was received. At this point in time, we're recommending that the resale bid be approved. This would make all the entities whole. This is an above minimum bid. In other words, it's above what was the minimum bid at the time of the sale, the original courthouse sale. The bidder will also need to pay the post judgments, which is 2017 through 2018. That's comprises $41.75 for the county. So that will be paid on top of, separately from their bid, and it will place the property back on the tax roll. So our recommendation is to approve this sale, since we've already had a courthouse sale. There were no takers, and it's just been sitting in exempt status for several years.
Motion to approve it.
Mr. On here, is it this green dot that is on this
On the
Map.
corner of 2nd Street?
second? Okay.
Yes, yes, Your Honor. Unimproved lot.
Do you have a question, Commissioner Odena?
Well, I was asking, we're asking the same thing, because it's got, the map shows some.
Correct.
Yeah, so the next account, or the next item is right next to it. So they're right next to each other.
Commissioner Alonso Carmona, are you still submitting your motion to approve?
Yes, sir.
Do I have a second? This is for item number 2.19.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Odena. Any further discussion? Yes, Mr. Carmona?
Is this, you got the original minimum bid at 2,800, right?
Yes, sir.
So you're gonna sell it for 3,000.
Yes, sir.
So what's the original price?
The
appraisal.
the original to resolve all the claims for the taxi units, the cost of sale, the cost of court, take care of everything, was that minimum bid there that we're capped at. Now, it did go further than that, because if you note, the appraised value there for the property happens to be the 2847. So there are additional amounts. However, the law requires us to be capped at that value, and that's the highest that we could set it for a sale, even if the costs go higher than that. So yes, technically there are additional amounts that were due, but we can't sell it for that higher amount because the law caps us at that one. Now, if there are multiple bidders and they take it up to the stratosphere, that's their prerogative. Legally, that's allowed. We just cannot start the offer at higher than that minimum bid
Right.
at the first sale.
Other questions? All in favor? Any opposition? Motion carries. 2.10, discussion and appropriate action, approval for private sale, resale of property account number 13044.
Motion.
The one right next to it.
I suppose.
Yes, that's correct. It's the one right next to it. It was in the same lawsuit. This is a full, well, actually above, again, same situation, above the minimum bid. The property was struck off back in September of 2018, so it has been in exempt status since then. Recommendation, given that this is above what would have been garnered as a minimum bid at the original sale, we're requesting that the board approve.
Are there any questions? Or entertain a motion? Motion to approve by Commissioner Odena. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Juan Carmona. Further discussion?
So the amount is 36, right? So that's the way I'm reading it.
Yes, sir.
Instead of 35.
All in favor? Any opposition? Motion carries. 2.11, discussion and appropriate action, approval for private sale, resale of property account number 16451.
This situation's a little different. This is, although the minimum bid at the time of original sale, believe it or not, the judge value was $100. So this is capped, right, at the original sale at $100. They're offering that same $100. So this is a full minimum bid. The reason why I considered this was in a different litigation. It was struck off. It's been in struck off status since 2003. Okay, so it's been off the roll and in exempt status for a long time. Currently, the value on the roll is $200. My thought process is if going back to the bidder and telling them at least to match what's on the roll currently at the $200. So my recommendation is to table it to allow for me to request them to take the 200. Of course, the other option would just be go ahead and accept the $100 bid.
Motion to table.
Motion to table by Commissioner Jose Odena.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Alonso Carmona. Any further discussion?
Where's this property at?
This one, so if you see there on the map as it slants over off Highway 3.
Seems to be in Catarina.
So yes, it's
In Catarina. In Catarina.
Oh, in Carolina. Where Diamond Road
It
is?
says, you see on there, it says Diamond H.
Right.
yeah.
How big is it?
It's a lot block. I don't have the
Is
dimensions
it
for
50 by
it.
50 or 100 by 100?
I don't have the dimensions in front of me.
Because if it's a pretty good size, maybe the commissioner can use it for, since it's a Diamond H, for storage or supplies and everything else.
And there are other, so the one following this is in the same area. The next lot.
The next one?
Correct. And I'm actually gonna, well, we're entering into the next item, but similar situation. So if that's something you're entertaining, of course, table the item. I can take that into consideration and advise the bidder of that, and that may expedite a larger bid.
That was interesting, Judge. I think when you table them, see if,
Well, we do have a motion to table. Commissioner Odena already tabled.
Oh, okay.
Any other discussion? All in favor? Any opposition? Motion carries. 2.12, discussion and appropriate action, approval for private resale property account number 16457.
Yes, Judge. The same thing for this one. This is very close to the property that you all just looked at. A minimum bid was 200 on the roll right now. It's appraised for 400. It's a land only and same location. So we'd like an opportunity to request the bidder to increase their bid to that at least 400, and perhaps maybe allow the county time to entertain whether or not they may be interested in the respective tract.
Make a motion to table this.
I have a motion to table by Commissioner Alonso Carmona. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Urenda. Further discussion? Since there's no further discussion, all in favor? Any opposition? Motion carries. 2.13, discussion and appropriate action, approval for private resale property account number 15669. Again, on the advice of our legal counsel for our taxes, I am going to respectfully request that this item be tabled, and that is 2.13. I'll entertain a motion to table.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Alonso Carmona. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Urenda. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. 2.14, discussion and appropriate action, approval for public resale of struck-off property IDs 11583, 13051, 13348, 13465, 13472, 19302, 19799, 22845.
Okay, this one's different. So, unlike the situations we just encountered for the items, these were already offered up for sale. They went through the whole litigation process, no takers, so they were struck off to the county, and they're sitting there. And they've been sitting there for 4 of them since 2018, 1 from 2020, and the remaining 3 since 2022. Since we've had no bids come in, there's another option that we can do to try to see if we can get some interest in these properties. And that's this. So what I've presented to you all here today is a proposed order to be issued out by the court to allow, pursuant to 3405, a public resale. In other words, put it at the courthouse. They'll be put on the paper again, just like it was in the original sale. What makes this situation special, outside of just being housed in the courthouse and entertaining live bids then and there, is that we can start the minimum bid at any amount. So if you want to start it off at $1, I could start it off at $1 and see where it goes from there. That's why in some areas, and I already see it now, but I'm just doing an extreme example. In some areas, these are called fire sales. So this is, again, the idea is to get it back on. So if you look at the column that's described for the exhibit minimum bid at original tax sale, that identifies there the minimum bid, right, for each one of those. And as you can see, the last 2, it's quite substantial. So my recommendation is, what I would need from the court is, 1, to entertain the order, and 2, as part of the order, identify to me and give me direction as to where you want me to start the bid for each of those parcels. And so my initial recommendation to help push that along is to start off the bidding at 50% of the minimum bid for each one of them. That's 50% of all the ones that have not already increased in value. So the first one, that's property count 13051, the next one 13348, the next one 13465, the next one 13472, and the next one 11583. So those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the first 5. The appraised value has been the same. It has not moved for ever since it was struck off. So my recommendation is, let's just go ahead, start the bidding at 50% of minimum bid for each one of those 5. Now, the last three, there actually have been, the values have essentially pretty much doubled since the judgment was taken. So the appraised value at the time of the judgment for property count 19302 was 3,311. The appraised value now on the roll is 6,244. So I would want to keep it at the full minimum bid, at the 3,311. Same thing for the next one, 19799. The original minimum bid was 80,200, the original minimum bid was 61,877.77 cents. I'd like to keep it at the same original minimum bid because the value went from 80,000 to 130, almost 135,000. So I think that's half. Let's keep it there at the full minimum bid. And lastly, court, the 22845, that one went from a value of 38,000 and change to 72 and a half. Minimum bid is 29,281.10. I say let's try to get a full minimum bid there again. So those are my recommendations.
Questions? You have a question?
Mr. Arce,
Yes, sir.
would it be illegal if the county would put signs up for sale and put down the amount that is being requested? Because I don't think a lot of people know about how this bidding process is. And I'm pretty sure if you try to buy a lot in town, it's not gonna be, $100, I guarantee you that.
Yes, we can absolutely do that. We can coordinate to get, so the only thing to take into account is when you place it on there on the property, right? Because our sales do not guarantee location of the property. We do provide meets and bounds as described by and included within the corresponding conveying documents. But once you put a for sale sign, at that point the county is kind of stipulating that that's where the property is located. That would be my only comment, but yes, that is something that has been done in other places, absolutely. Especially if it's off a certain highway, you can capture eyeballs to say, hey, put that on there. And sometimes people will take them, especially sometimes the adjacent owners may not like it. But hopefully if it's something with the county on there, that they may be less inclined.
The reason I'm asking because this gentleman bought a property for $300 and he went and sells it for $12,000. The county's the one that losing money, of course, but that's the reason I was asking.
Absolutely.
Well, that's where we put pressure on Purdue as our legal consultants so that they can try to sell it for more.
Yeah.
Just clarification, Mr. Upson. You're saying by putting up a sign, then the county may be warranting title, and we don't want to do that, correct?
It wouldn't be, it'd be as to location more
Right.
specifically, but yeah, it'd still be a quick claim deed in the form of,
We just don't want the county to have any liability for meets and bounds of the
Yes.
location,
correct.
right?
Yes, sir.
We just need to be careful with that.
But you can put speculations out there, can you?
Well,
Like you're asking.
it's the reason why they advertise. When people see the advertisement in the paper, they go out and they check the properties themselves. If they want to hire a surveyor prior to making a bid, they can do that. That's at their expense, not the county's expense, not the other taxing entities that have any heart or interest in the property. And then they're always buying it subject to any potential lawsuit, boundary disputes, and everything else on the tax bill. Right?
I don't think Mr. Carmona can hear you, Mr. Gonzalez.
More or less,
If you want to speak into the mic or yell, perhaps.
I thought I was yelling, I apologize. All right, Mr. Carmona, all I was saying is that we need to be careful. We don't want to subject the county to any liability by putting up a sign warranting title. We need to be careful. They're obligated to advertise, and the properties are sold as is. Any title issues that come with the property, if they don't pay the other costs in the district clerk's office, then it's subject again for a judgment against the buyer, correct? So there's still a lot of issues out there, but I understand the intent here is to get the properties back on the tax roll. My other question on all these items, Mr. Arce, when you put them up for resale, they're gonna be listed individually and people will be able to bid on it individually, not the whole package, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Additionally, we have discussed as well with the tax assessor and having conversations of, hey, what are options, right? You've got the public resale, let's hope this works out. You have concerns regarding how much the property is going for and what a truly market value you can get, right? So one of the things that has been discussed is putting it on, I know there are certain very active Facebook groups, more locally, that can be posted. You know, I can certainly work in conjunction with, you know, especially if it's in your respective precinct, or if there's some sort of consolidated one for the county or a community one, again, to post it on there. We do also have TCG, which is a subsidiary or an outfit that works in conjunction with Purdue. TCG has on their licensed realtor, has code enforcement officers, and have individuals that have experience writing out grants, requesting funds. That's something as well that we've looked at and tacitly discussed with the tax assessor to be able to provide, to see what extent we can provide options to get a move on and assist the county in taking care of trust property.
Are there any other questions of Mr.?
So just to note for the record, I'll notate on here the 50%.
Correct.
And then the 100%, and then send a clean copy for your signature, Judge,
Thank you.
assuming if it gets approved.
I will entertain a motion to approve the public sale of the aforementioned properties with the stipulation that they start at the 50% with the exception of the first two items to be at 100% minimum. Motion by Commissioner Alonso Carmona. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Uranda. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. 2.15 discussion, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
2.15 discussion and appropriate action, monthly report from JP Precinct 1, Ms. Sonia Guerrero Perez for the month of June 2024.
Morning, Judge, Commissioners.
I apologize for the delay, Judge. Commissioner Juan had a question for you, but he needs to use the boys' restroom, so we're gonna wait for him to come back. Do you gentlemen have any questions of Judge Perez's report? She's saying, he's saying you need darker ink to print this out, but
It's too light. I'll let my secretary.
we need to get you more operating supplies in your budget for darker ink.
Correct.
we'll find out. If not, I'm gonna move forward. Is there any other questions?
Motion to approve.
I have a motion to approve by Commissioner Alonso Carmona,
Second.
second by Commissioner Urenda. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. Thank you very much, Judge.
Thank you. I just want to let Commissioners Court know and Judge that we have started our annual school drive for in lieu of the fine, they pay the court cost and a certain amount for the fine, and they bring that in as school supplies. And we started that this month.
Thank you, Judge. 2.16, discussion and appropriate action, monthly report from JP Precinct 2, Mr. Alberto Esquivel for the month of May and June 2024.
Good morning.
Good morning, Judge.
Motion to approve.
Are there any questions? I have a motion to approve by Commissioner Alonso Carmona. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Urenda. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
Two point 17, discussion and appropriate action, monthly report from JP Precinct 3, Ms. Leticia Hernandez for the month of June 2024.
Motion to table.
Motion to table by Commissioner Alonso Carmona. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Urenda. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. 2.18, discussion and appropriate action, monthly report from JP Precinct 4, Mr. Alfredo Martinez.
Morning, Your Honor, Commissioners.
Morning, Judge. Are there any questions of Judge Martinez? Judge, I just wanted to congratulate you and commend you for, I was looking at your report, and it looks like since we started our fiscal year, your numbers have increased substantially in the amount of revenue, so thank you very much for that.
Thank you, Your Honor, Commissioners.
Motion to approve.
I have a motion by Commissioner Alonso Carmona. Is there a second?
A second.
Second by Commissioner Urenda. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. 2.19, thank you, Judge. 2.19, discussion and appropriate action, monthly report from District Clerk Ms. Marisela Gonzalez for the month of June 2024. Thank you, Ms. Juan.
Oh,
My report's on there.
no, that's all.
Are there questions of Ms. Gonzalez?
Motion. Second.
Motion by Commissioner Uranda,
Second.
second by Commissioner Alonso Carmona. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. Thank you, Ms. Gonzalez. 2.20, discussion and appropriate action, monthly report from County Clerk Mr. Mario Garcia for the month of June 2024.
Little more than an average 2-month, Judge. I do have two accommodations to address. First of all is outstanding work in county court, collecting fines and fees, and to Commissioner Alonso Carmona for his upkeep of the historical courthouse and actually hands-on repairs that he does. I appreciate that attention given.
Likewise, Mr. Garcia, I do want to commend you and your staff, Mr. Gonzalez, and everyone on my staff. As you mentioned, as you can see, the numbers for the fines that we have in county court have increased tremendously from previous years, and we have had an increase in the fines that have come in. So thank you to your staff and everyone else working behind the scenes diligently to make sure that we're bringing in some kind of revenue on that aspect of the court system. So thank you and your staff, Mr. Gonzalez, your staff, for working those plea deals so that Dimmit County can see revenue in our county. Are there any other questions? I'll entertain a motion.
Motion. Second.
Motion by Commissioner Uranda, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Alonso Carmona. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. 2.21, discussion and appropriate action, approval for registration fee for County Clerk Mario Garcia, Chief Deputy Clerk Belinda Sandoval, Deputy Clerk Sally Flores to attend the 42nd Texas State Annual Election Seminar, August 12th through the 14th.
Judge, it's just the registration fee. On the next agenda, I'll have the actual travel voucher.
So moved.
I have a motion by Commissioner Alonso Carmona,
Second.
second by Commissioner Uranda. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries.
Thank you.
2.22, discussion and appropriate action, approval of 2025 sheriff's and constable's fee to keep as is and authorize the county clerk to submit the report. This is the annual report. As you can recall, the fee that we had last year, it's a formality that needs to be approved in Commissioner's Court. Mr. Garcia, Sheriff, the fee didn't change this year, right?
Correct.
It stayed the same, exactly. Are there any questions?
Motion to approve.
I have a motion by Commissioner Uranda,
Second.
second by Commissioner Alonso Carmona. Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. 2.23, discussion and appropriate action, monthly report from Dimmit County Assistant Fire Chief, Mr. David Torres, for the month of June 2024. You do not have your reports on here. Mr. Torres needed to leave on an emergency.
Yes.
So I'm going to ask for this item to be tabled.
Motion to table.
I have a motion by Commissioner Alonso Carmona. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Uranda. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. 2.25, discussion and appropriate action, approval of monthly report for Victory Ambulance for the month of June 2025. We do not have a representative here from Victory Ambulance. So
Motion to table.
that is a motion to table by Commissioner Alonso Carmona. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Uranda. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. 2.25, discussion and appropriate action, approval of use of remaining balance of SB 2022 funds for original proposal and agenda discussion for budget adjustment number 37 for investigator, crime victim coordinator, and Estela Villarreal for 3 months.
Yes, ma'am. Daniel Gonzalez, this is part of Senate Bill 22. I have brought Razan Gonzalez on board subject to the approval. If not, I'm gonna have to pay him through the part-time I have there and release him. He's been real effective and instrumental in getting some of our cases where we have a cash bond. I believe the judge had already signed one judgment. He was able to locate the individual in Pearsall, and it turns out that his warrant was not in the system. Well, he got stopped in Marfa and had to sit in jail until he signed. His wife came and picked up the paperwork, took it to Marfa, and they signed it. We brought it back and filed it with the court. So it was like once they found out he was in custody and wanted released, they were eager to sign the paperwork. We've got about 10, 15 cases like that, maybe less, my last count. But we have plenty of work for him in the sense that we've got approximately 72 cases where we have outstanding warrants, and I want him to go and work with the sheriff's office. We've met with the sheriff and make sure that all these warrants are in the system. And then we've got another 60, 75 cases where we have judgments that people have not paid on. So we're going to start, he's hired, identifying the local individuals first, get those out of the way, and then look at the people that are from out of county and then try to locate them and make sure that their warrants are in the system.
So you're asking for us to approve the balance of the SB 22 so you can apply it to Mr. Gazan?
Yes, to Mr. Gassan and to Stella as the victim coordinator.
Is there a motion to approve?
I have
Go ahead, you have a question, go ahead.
Judge, Mr. Gonzalez, on, I know it's what do you call it, OLS?
No, this is
No, this is SB 22.
SB 22. However, looking on your, and whatever the court decides, but looking on your budget, where it has, I don't know if it's legal or what can be done, being that Ms. Martinez is actually just a regular secretary, or secretary, I shouldn't say regular. Where does this come into play? Where
So Mr. Gonzalez will give Mr. Ortiz a payroll notice to change her position effectively to a victims assistant coordinator. As you can recall, when we went to South Padre Island for our annual county judges and commissioners conference, they advised us about SB 22 and that those funds could only be applied if in fact it was an investigator or a victims coordinator. And if they weren't, then it would be illegal to apply those things. However, Mr. Gonzalez has the authority as the department head for that particular office to go and give Mr. Ortiz a notice that he is changing her from an administrative assistant to a victims coordinator. And in doing that, that will ascertain that she can be applied those funds to her.
She's already my designated victims coordinator. And Senate bill specifically states that, only a victim, the victim coordinator can be supplemented through
Correct.
the bill, and that's the response here.
Well, it was just a question.
Regardless, and she's not like an elected official, because I'm not entitled to give myself a raise under this grant either.
Right.
That's got to be approved through Commissioner's Court, and it's only certain individuals in the bill. This was to hire additional support staff and personnel, and to supplement the Victims Impact Coordinator. So these figures are before you. I've met for about 2 days with Mr. Ortiz till we finally got them right, hopefully. And we went back and forth, met with Mr. Perez, said, okay, here's a mistake, and then he had to run off, and then we went back, found out, well, the information he gave us was not correct, so we corrected that. I took the figures, went and ran them myself, came back and said, okay, they're not adding up, and this is what we came. we're still gonna have money, a little money left over at the end of the grant. And I'm gonna still have money from the previous employee that I hired, because he's been on bereavement, and he hasn't been working because his dad passed away. So I'm gonna have like about a week's salary there.
On the investigator, the hourly wage, is that correct? Is that number correct?
That's correct, Your Honor, because if I don't pay it and use it.
I understand that, but that amount reflects what you have for the SB 2022.
Right.
Yes, that's for the hours remaining this fiscal year,
That's the number that you would have to pay him in order for you to,
if Mr. Gonzalez wants to use all the money
Correct.
by the end of the fiscal year.
correct?
That's the hourly rate he has to pay.
I'm sorry. And it's just, looking at these figures, I mean, I just don't understand the way the money is being spent.
Because it was the first time that the grant was issued, and it came in late, the monies came in late, and I have to use the money by the end of August. All right, and I've been.
September
Excuse me.
31st,
September 30th.
30th.
All right, and if I don't use the money, then I need to return it. And then
So my question to you is, obviously, I understand where these commissioners are having an issue with that hourly wage, because I don't think anybody in Dimmit County makes that much money here, in terms of employees, not elected officials. But what are we looking at, Mr. Ortiz, in terms of when we go into fiscal year 2024, 2025 in October? Obviously, that number is going to decrease, or you're going to leave it at that number?
He's only employed until the end of September unless I'm given an investigator, and then it's going to be distributed for the 12-month period. All right, now if I apply for a new grant and it's granted for the new fiscal year through Senate Bill 22, then it would be divided through a 12-month period. I wasn't, because of when they awarded the grant, I wasn't afforded that opportunity, and when I was able to hire Mr. Gonzalez, because, and no relations to me, so it's clear, because he's a previous employee with the county, and had to wait the 9-day period in order to rehire him, and I had no other applicant to consider at the time. So that's the reason, or else I would have brought him in a little bit earlier in May. But, and also the other issue was the start date. We were looking at July the 2nd for payment, and we had it on the agenda.
It was two weeks from today, this is Monday.
Okay, let me ask you this, Mr. Gonzalez. I don't know how long this what you're saying, but my only concern is, let's say you don't get it anymore. They're aware that they're gonna lose this.
The two positions that are not guaranteed is the #1 clerk, that's Bobby Jimenez, and the investigator. Estela is already
Right.
on the budget. If her salary is renewed, then, and I don't get Senate Bill 22, it goes back to her regular salary. I know that question's been asked of me every time I come before this court.
Well, I ask everybody the same question, not just you. And as far as I'm concerned, I keep telling the judge, I don't like the way these grants are being handled. Now, I mean, you for yourself, put yourself in my shoes, I'm gonna agree to something, and then something is wrong. Who's at fault?
Yeah.
Me, for accepting the
No,
recommendation that we got. That's the only thing I got. I asked the same people everything.
I
Why
understand.
and where and we. You know that, because you always hear me.
Yeah, I'm not questioning you,
Well,
Commissioner.
no, but you say, I always get asked the same
No, I
question.
said, I've been asked on this grant the same question, and whether or not I've informed these employees that they may not have a job at the end of September 30th. They're aware of that. You know,
Okay.
I would not, hire them if they didn't agree to that. If they thought they were gonna be working for me a longer period of time, because it's still subject to the budget. If I don't get a position for them come budget time, they have no job. But at the meantime, I'm trying to clear up a backlog that I have in my office, and he has a good working relationship with the sheriff. We went down there before I hired him and met with the sheriff,
if we have to go pick up people locally that are going to assist us, and he's gonna go with an officer, and the sheriff's also carrying his license right now, so, he's a licensed, peace officer, so, you know, they're gonna assist us in that way. I understand that the salary is, but I just wanna be eligible to apply for another grant.
Yes, sir. No, that's fine. I don't have no issues whatsoever on this. But my concern was, like I told you, let's say, for example, you're gonna be asking for an investigator, right? And then if you do get it on the budget time, I hope he's not thinking that he's gonna get this amount.
No.
Okay, that's all, because once you, if the commissioner courts
I agree.
approve the investigator, then he's gonna go like the regular other employees.
Correct.
All right, no, that was my only
Yeah.
question.
No, this is a unique situation under the, placed it under the grant. They go back to what's approved in the budget. If they don't wanna work, for my office under the budget amount, you know, they're free to go.
Right.
I can't keep them if they don't wanna, you know,
Right.
work for that amount of money. But, you know, I expect the budget item to be comparable to what, you know, the deputies and the constables are being paid.
I understand
Yeah, but, yeah, right now, they're limited to this period of time, and that's it.
Mr.
Their
James,
advice, yes.
just for record, we're aware, we don't name personnel on the public meetings, names. The only thing is, the other question is, on this salaries, if we get the other grant, are they gonna be lower? I know you said there's gonna be a decrease, but are we gonna have an hourly wage notice, or? Like, right before
Will
we said the
their
budget.
salary be supplemented if they're, if I get an agenda item for an investigator or something else, will it be supplemented? It'll depend on the grant.
Okay.
If
But
the grant
they
allows
will
it-
be added on the regular payroll. They're not gonna be I know you said they were gonna be hired, but just, my concern is.
So the way this is gonna work, Commissioner Alonso, is that this right here, right now, is for SB 22 only, and specifically. So when the fiscal year ends, Mr. Gonzalez will discuss with me his request that he would like an investigator. Because he didn't have an investigator before. He's gonna request how much he would like his investigator to get paid. As a chief budgeting officer, I will sit down with our auditor and look at our finances and put together a number that we think is reasonable, rational, and that works with the budget of the general fund. At that time, we will bring it back to Commissioners Court for budget approval, and this court can approve whether or not the request that Mr. Gonzalez makes is what you guys want or what you don't want. So right now, this amount, like I said, I know it looks outrageous, but in order for Mr. Gonzalez to utilize all those funds for SB 22, he has to pay that amount. And he has to pay that amount to this particular employee before September 30th ends. Because if not, Mr. Gonzalez has to return the money back. And if Mr. Gonzalez returns the money back, if we are all aware here that when we have grants and we give money back, that indicates to the governor's office or the comptroller or whoever is providing a grant that we really didn't need that money after all. And so therefore, the next time that we apply for a grant, they're gonna say, why are we gonna give Dimmit County this amount? Because they didn't use it anyways. So the purpose of today's agenda is so that Mr. Ortiz can get a payroll notice from Mr. Gonzalez saying to go ahead and pay them this amount through and only through September the 30th. At that point, Mr. Gonzalez has made the court aware, as you heard him earlier, that he has advised these particular individuals that there is no guarantee that one, they will have a job after September 30th, two, that they may very well not get paid at this number that you see here, because this number is purely on the stipulation that this money has to be utilized by September the 30th. Correct?
Correct.
So,
Thank you. Motion by Commissioner Juan Carmona,
Second.
second by Commissioner Urenda. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. 2.26, monthly report from county commissioners for the month of June 2021. I will start with Commissioner Urenda. Any comments, questions regarding your precinct?
Judge, basically, we're trying to keep up with, based on the rain that we received, right away mowing and debris pickup on Bay Branch Road, Castle Road, and all the county road from Bay Branch down towards into town. So that's what we've been working on.
Any questions of Commissioner Urenda? And Commissioner Urenda, I also want to thank you and give you my appreciation for always working with me in regards to emergency management services. I know that we were rapidly preparing for the expecting rain, possible floods for the hurricane, and your office and your department at the Road and Bridge were working very well with Ms. Rodriguez at Emergency Management Department, so thank you and your men for that. I appreciate it. We will move on to Precinct 2, Commissioner Alonso Carmona. Any updates, comments that you'd like to advise this court and your constituents regarding Precinct 2?
Judge, we're almost done with County Road 173. And as you, I reminded you, it's a 5-mile stretch, so it takes we work on it continuously, but this time we threw 149 loads of wrap material, so they gave us a good amount. We're basically about 3/4 of a mile from being done, and we're keeping up with the other roads also. Right now with the rain, the grass is grown, so we're trying to get to the roads that we can get to. We're straightening out there.
Are there any questions for Commissioner Carmona Alonso? Again, also Commissioner, thank you for answering the calls of Ms. Rodriguez in terms of the preparations for the hurricane. I know your staff was also preparing those sandbags for the community, so thank you for working with her. Again, like I always mention, the more that we work together and collaborate together, the more that we can service our community. We do have a representative here from the Texas Department of Emergency Management, and he knows very well, as Selena has been working tirelessly to make sure that we have the arena, or that we have things in order and in place so that we can always be prepared for the safety of the public and the community, especially in times of the hurricane. And we won't be able to do that unless we work together as the county judge and commissioners and with emergency management. So thank you again as well for answering the phone call. I know that I was in Florida, but I called you, you answered, and without complaints, you got with Ms. Rodriguez, so thank you very much.
Judge, I'd like to thank, if I may, I would like to thank also Black Mountain Sand. They donated the sand, and we did 600 bags, and we have 150 left.
It's always good to be proactive, and so I commend you all for working with me when I call you and you promptly get your men out there. I know sometimes it's on a weekend, sometimes it's after hours, but at the end of the day, like I always say, and I can't keep repeating it, we're here to service the community and not for ourselves. So thank you for doing that. I know that you and Commissioner Urena's men worked after hours to get those sandbags prepared. I know that I had a bunch of constituents reaching out to me, to my office, in all different platforms asking for assistance. Because you said that they donated sand, I would like to put an agenda,
Yeah.
please.
That's fine. They donated sandbags also. We also had a call from Commissioner Carmona. I had a call and several constituents. Now, in the future, Judge, I would suggest that emergency management designate one location so that they're not wanting to go to all the commissioners' precincts to pick up sandbags.
Well, we work together, Mr. Gonzalez, and that'd be a great idea, but sometimes it's easier for our commissioners to do those sandbags at their each particular yard, especially like Commissioner Juan, that he has his yard in Big Wells.
I understand.
It'd be very hard for you to have your Big Wells constituents to drive to precinct 1 or precinct 2. And although I will
That's
take your advice under,
That's understandable, Your Honor, but if the sand is being donated to one location, you know, the county workers can still pick up the sandbags and take them to the precincts and deliver them there.
no, they do that.
The way it works is like Commissioner Alienda gets his sand, I get my sand.
Okay.
And then Commissioner Carmona or Valerie gets sand, and we all set up at,
Different locations.
yes,
that
I don't mind serving Carrizo Hill and all that.
Relieve any long lines and waiting for sandbags.
Right.
That's just it. I mean, we appreciate your comments, but I think historically speaking, it's just been able to work effective and efficiently the way that they have it now, so
Whatever works best for the county, Your Honor.
that's what we do. Thank you.
Thank you.
We have Commissioners' report from 3 and 6, Mr. Juan Carmona. Mr. Carmona, updates on your precinct, sir.
Judge, we're working on Henningsen Road, what's left of that road is about 4 miles, and hopefully, if we have any money left over, I plan to do another 2 miles.
I noticed
The county
also,
has been doing, the county has been doing 2 miles at a time, so it's working out pretty good.
I noticed also on your report that you indicated that River Road is in poor condition. What's the status on River Road?
Well, that one used to have a gate, and only the ranchers were allowed to use it, so we went and cut the lock and put a chain, and then we just maintain it. But I instructed, see, and I don't know why they ever put a gate in a fence, because it's fenced here and it's fenced here, and the road goes all the way up to the river. So that's the county's road. So I don't even know why, there's no cattle, there's nothing on the stretch of road, so I don't know why they even have closed it up. But we never have used it, only to maintain it, so I'll probably just take everything out and just work on it more.
Okay.
That also happens on, I think I told Mr. Gonzalez at one time that, that place, the Eastern, they got all their trucks going in, and that road is all the way to the river also, to the Espatosa. And we went ahead and knocked the gate down, so they're probably gonna call you all upset because they had locked it, but that road is a county road, it's been a county road, and I'm not about to let it go.
If it's a county road and they have not followed the formal procedures to close that road, it should remain open to the public.
Thank you, Mr. Carmona. Any questions of Commissioner Juan Carmona? We are going to table Commissioner Rubalcaba's report. She is absent today. Any further discussion in regards to the monthly reports? I entertain a motion.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Alonso Carmona. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Urenda. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. Discussion and appropriate action, approval to replace 2 compressors at the Dimmit County Conference Center, Precinct 1.
Judge, this item is back on the agenda. We're requesting the approval to move forward with the repairs on the AC units. We've got a unit in the conference center that the compressor's gone out on.
This is on the interior part,
In the
correct?
part,
Not
the
the...
ballroom area.
Okay.
And we've been managing by setting up some fans during some of these events. However, it has become a concern, and the other units are having to work extra harder to keep the venue cool.
Motion to approve.
Commissioner, I
I'm
also
sorry.
want to make a comment for the record and for public notice. I'm sure you were advised over the weekend, I was advised, you were advised And just so that we can let the community and constituents know, unfortunately, we're having issues with individuals in the rodeo arena side or either side of the convention center. We've been having issues in regards to individuals. We can't obviously catch who it is, but they're clogging up the toilets with stuffing toilet paper in them. It's causing issues and concerns. I'm sure your staff has advised you.
Yes.
But what I would like to make a public or make the comment is that I would hate for the actions of certain individuals that rent the facilities to cause the consequences of foregoing anyone using those facilities because of one individual. So I'd like to put that out there because it's becoming a reoccurring issue. It's costing the county a lot of money, as you're aware, for the maintenance part of it, for us to rectify the problem. I mean, we had water all over the convention center because people are stuffing toilet paper in wipies down the toilet. And so just want to make it aware to the public, to the community, that we need to take care of the items that we have. I'm a proponent that we should allow the community to use the facilities. That's what they're there for, so that people can use these facilities. But if we have something nice, we need to take care of it, because if we don't take care of it, then the facilities cannot be used by the community. And to have us not be able to rent out these facilities to people that actually need it and want to use it is pretty sad, because of certain individuals that are clogging up these toilets. And it's not something that can be easily repaired. I mean, this is causing backup through the main lines, the water lines. So I want to just make that on the record so that the community is aware of that. Other comments? I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Alonso Carmona. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Urenda. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. 2.28, discussion and appropriate action, approval to renew the generator contract with AgraGen Powers LLC, Precinct 1. Good morning, sir.
Morning. Morning.
This contract, it came up in the last meeting, and I believe, I questioned Mr. Gonzalez if he reviewed it. He had a question at the time in regards to an item like the battery, for example, that go into these generators. And it's my distinct understanding that in the past, and following what we've been doing in the past with the particular contract, the county would purchase, if the battery is necessary for a specific generator, the county will purchase the battery. And the contractor that obtained the contract will install the battery and replace it.
Correct, at no additional charge for any of the labor, time for traveling, and the reason why I do that
Do
specifically.
you mind coming to the mic?
Yes.
Some of us are hard at hearing.
No problem. The reason why I do that specifically is Dimmit County, out of the 8 generators you have right now, 4 of those systems, in particular Generac, if those control systems aren't completely taken down and taken offline, the battery replacement can cause damage to that control panel. That control panel is a $10,000 replacement. These are the reasons why I prefer to personally go ahead and take care of these. And again, I don't charge any additional labor for the time it takes to install these batteries. And the county does provide those batteries for me, meaning I believe you all buy your batteries directly from Nick's Auto CarQuest here, and you will be invoiced directly from them. Usually the way I go about this is I come out every 3 months. So when we know that the battery replacement is due, battery replacements come up every 24 to 30 months. That is a state regulation that follows the National Electrical Code. So when we see that coming up on my digital reports that I send you all, you will be able to see on there that I will be recommending battery replacement, that it'll be due for replacement in 3 to 6 months. And I also make sure to get in touch with the county commissioner in charge of whichever site that is, also let them know that, hey, whatever it may be, in 3 months or 6 months, you're going to be looking at battery replacement on this particular genset.
So this particular contract is for your services to assist the county in installing it, correct?
This is my contract for the overall service for the entire year. This covers your annual engine maintenance, which on 6 of your sites occurs in October. On the remaining 2, it actually occurs in April. So that includes all your engine oil filters, your oil changes, things of that nature. That also includes your annual load banks, which are required by the state, your 2-hour load banks documented on every single one of your generators. And that also includes me coming out every single quarter to do general inspections on your generators. At the request of Dimmit County, and previously, and we kind of kept this the way, I've been working on your generators now for 10 years. 2 under Agrogen LLC, under my company. The previous 8, I was with Austin Generator Service. So to tell you I have a relationship with them, well, you put it that was a little bit of an understatement. I can tell you about every single one of them like it's the back of my hand. But as far as the maintenance goes, we check everything out, and the way that I've always done it in the past is we do a simulated power outage at every site to make sure that.
You'd like to introduce yourself for the record?
Yes, I'm Paula Lau with Patel Bratton Hill. And I am here today to present to you the annual financial report for fiscal year 2023. Can you hear me very well? This is good. Okay. You do have a report in front of you. You do have a report in front of you. And what I wanted to do today is just kind of give you a brief overview and let you know the results of the audit as well. On page 1 of this document, there you will find our independent auditor's report. In this report, what it basically says is we have audited the accompanying financial statements in accordance with government auditing standards as well as generally accepted auditing standards. Those standards require that we plan and perform the audit to obtain a reasonable assurance that these financial statements are materially correct. And I'm happy to let you know that we were able to render an unmodified opinion on the financial statements. An unmodified opinion is the highest opinion that can be rendered, and also known as a clean opinion among most individuals as well. So congratulations on your team receiving this high standard for this particular report. What I also wanted to do, as I mentioned, is talk about some of the additional results. In the very end of the report, you'll find the single audit section or the compliance section. This particular county did expend more than $750,000 of federal awards and state awards this year. So we were required to perform a federal single audit as well as a state single audit. On pages 68 and 69, you will find a list of the federal awards as well as a list of state awards. Federal awards were about $2.5 million, and state awards were just a little bit more than $2 million for this particular fiscal year. The programs based on a risk assessment that we had to perform as auditors and following certain guidelines by the federal government and state governments. The programs that we looked at this year were the ARPA funds and the Homeland Security Grant, or the Operation Snowball funds for the federal grants. And then for the state program was the County Transportation Infrastructure Fund grant, or the CTIF grant. And I'm happy to let you know is that we did not come across a material non-compliance for any of these 3 programs that we had to look at. So we're able to give a clean opinion for those programs again this year as well. So congratulations on getting those high results as well. As far as the financial statements are concerned, just wanted to point out a couple of items. Financial highlights, mainly looking at fund balance at the end of the fiscal year, just a snapshot in time, September 30th, 2023. Do you remember a gentleman that Mr. Ortiz had just came up? Y'all were talking about fund balance and what it looks like, things of that nature. And I do concur that fund balance here at this particular county is in a good financial position. For the general fund at the end of the fiscal year, it was almost $60 million on page 13. You can see that number. A lot of times, like what we like to do is compare that to the general fund expenses. And general fund expenses for this particular year. We're a little bit more than $14 million. So that's definitely, a couple of years or more of fund balance there in the general fund. And all the other funds,
Just to reiterate, when I did speak to Mr. Pereira prior to this, he did advise, and just because we have our local newspaper here, so she can put it on the paper, that Dimmit County is in the green. We are doing very well, and our fund balance is a little over $60 million, so that the community knows that we are not in the red or we're in the negative. So I do want to commend you guys for all your work and commend Mr. Ortiz and Mr. Pereira's office and everybody that's involved in making sure that Dimmit County stays afloat and that we are in the green and not in the red.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And it is a team effort. It's everyone, all the commissioners, county judge, all the elected officials, and everyone. It's a team effort to make this work and the financials work the way that they do. And staying within budget, also too, just making sure that you're in compliance with laws and regulations, things of that nature that could have a material impact on these financial statements. So we ask a lot of questions throughout the audit process and gather a lot of information from multiple offices. And really appreciate everyone's time and effort to get today to present to you these audit results and information as well. But if anyone has questions, I'm more than happy to answer those.
Thank you very much. I will entertain a motion to approve the 2023 audit.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Alonso Carmona. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Urenda. Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. Thank you so much for your time and thank you for being patient.
Yeah, absolutely.
I saw you sitting there for a while. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
5.5, discussion appropriate action to award bids for telephone service. Do we have any bids, Mr. Garcia?
They've been submitted.
Marty's not here.
That's
Do you know? Do you know if we have the bids?
Yeah, we had the bids, but we tabled them because I believe you weren't here and we have all the people. And I think Commissioner had a question on it.
Okay. I'm going to motion to table it again because I don't have it.
Second.
Motion by me, Mr. Garcia, then second by Commissioner Alonso Carmona. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. 5.6, discussion appropriate action, budget adjustment number 71 for IT department.
Judge, these are budget adjustments that we were making in order to be in the green again. They weren't taking, I should say taking. They were using funds for the telephone, from the telephone to pay bill boxes. So that's why we're in the red. So they're putting that money back from the red account to that to where IT.
Mark, you already tabled it. Yes, because apparently Ms. Rubalcaba also had some questions and she's not here, so we can get them answered. So we'll put it on the next agenda item, just make sure you get it with Ms. Hernandez.
okay. And that would mean August, all right?
No,
Oh, we're not.
we have a July 22nd meeting,
Oh, okay, so next week?
in 2 weeks. Thank you.
Marky, Mr. Mendez, give all that information to Ms. Hernandez, that way she's got it ready to put it on the board for next time.
Okay, thank you.
Now entertain a motion for budget adjustment for IT department. Motion, you're gonna motion by Juan Carmona. Is there a second? I'll second that.
You were discussing about, don't have a,
He's asking for a budget adjustment for the IT.
But he mentioned something about helicopters.
No, he went off tangent.
Okay.
I understand what he
Okay.
means.
That's what I was looking for.
He went off tangent. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Motions, and we have one abstention, which is Commissioner Urenda. 5.7, discussion appropriate action, budget adjustment number 72, road and bridge number 3.
Just this one is an adjustment because we were using the funds, since one of the employees is part-time, full-time, they were using the funds of the part-time, and we were not taking that out of the right bracket where he's supposed to be. So therefore, we're adjusting the temporary.
So you have 2 part-time positions, but you don't have the funds in the part-time, so you're gonna move them from full-time to put them in part-time. Is that correct?
I haven't seen it.
They didn't show it to you? I see, right? That's what you're trying to do? You have 2 employees that are part-time.
But they use the full-time. One of the employees is on the full-time, but they were using the regular part-time.
What you said, Judge, is correct.
Right?
The money is moving from full-time.
That's what I'm saying. Okay.
But if we mistakenly paid out for the wrong line, if payroll mistakenly paid from the long line, I can go back and check on it to make sure going forward. But I believe this is just to fix what was in the past.
Any questions?
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Alonso Carmona. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Uranda. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. 5.8, budget adjustment with road and bridge number 3.
I think Mr. Pereira talked to you about this one.
No, he didn't talk to me about it, but he did not talk to me about it, but I am trying to figure out what he's doing.
Okay, we've been preparing everything, we were taking it out of there, but there was not enough money, so then I started using the
And this is to repair for what park?
Alanis.
Oh, so he moving from one department to another?
That's what that's why I'm confused.
Yeah, it looks like he's taking money from your parks department for maintenance to pay.
Did he talk to you? That's why I'm saying.
He did not talk to me.
From what I can tell, he's taking money from your parks department maintenance and repair to Commissioner Juan's maintenance repair road and bridge 3.
You don't want to share with me?
Oh,
You,
yeah, I'm almost out.
you're taking my money?
Sweet bread. I don't know if you remember when we discussed it, and I was running low, and you said, well, we'll cross that bridge when we get there.
No, not complete.
I can table it, we'll get Pereira and Habana up to get up to it.
Yeah, he didn't discuss, I mean, I don't have an issue, but I didn't know that that's what he was talking about because obviously sometimes, I know Commissioner Urena's staff has, exactly, we didn't have it, there's
I don't have a
no,
problem. Like I said,
I'm gonna go ahead and table it because I didn't know about that.
I'd love to get him up here.
I suppose you'll second my motion to table?
Yes, ma'am.
I have a second by Commissioner Juan Carmona. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries.
And I specifically told him, be sure you tell the judge.
He did not.
Oh, yes, 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 yes. You know how he gets?
There is no executive session items. I will entertain a motion.
Can I make an announcement before we adjourn?
Mhm.
It's totally unrelated to the agenda, but I just wanted to make an announcement that next week I'm gonna do basically like an event for all the employees in the county where they can, my department can help them set up their online account for their retirement. So next Monday and Tuesday, we'd ask your office if we could use this room.
Mr. Ortiz, do you have a flyer that you probably?
I haven't made it yet.
Okay.
I haven't made it yet, but I was gonna
So
send
you
it
can
out.
get that so that we can get it sent out. Thank you. I entertain a motion to adjourn.
Judge, the claim docket.
Thank you so much. What was that?
We were just talking about the claim docket.
I will hold myself accountable. We're not all perfect. I wish I was.
No.
That would be so great. I am going to do 5.9 claim docket. The general fund, $285,812.85. Dimmit County Airport, $2,750. Dimmit County Golf Course, $7,013.34. Records Management County Clerk, $1,433. Utilities, $4,488.52. Equitable Sharing and Forfeitures and Seizures, $8,572.32. Operation Lone Star 2022, $184,028.85. CTIF Text Dot Infrastructure Fund, $70,200. Dimmit County Payroll, $133,740.82. Tax Note Series 2023, $64,000 for a total of $762,039.70.
Motion to.
Is there any questions? I have a motion to approve by Commissioner Alonso Carmona. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Urenda. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. I will entertain a motion to recess and adjourn the regular meeting.
So moved.
I have a motion by Commissioner Alonso Carmona,
Second.
second by Commissioner Urenda. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. This meeting is ended. Mr. Garcia, I am going to call the Public Facilities meeting to order. The time is 12:42 p.m. Let the record reflect that all parties are present with the exception of one absent. That is Commissioner Rubalcaba is absent. Approval of minutes, regular meeting June 17th, July 1st, and July 12th, 2024. Item number 1.3. Are there any questions in regards to the minutes?
Motion to approve.
I have a motion by Commissioner Alonso Carmona. There's a second by Commissioner Juan Carmona. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. 2.1, discussion, appropriate action, new business. Is there any new business for Public Facilities, Commissioner?
Judge, for the board and yourself to be aware that we're gonna start, laying a layer of asphalt on the Middle Rio, all the parking lot there. We're gonna go and start fixing it up. So there's gonna be quite an expensive, deal, so. And I also would like for you or Mr. Pereira to find a way to we can separate, because this is coming out of public facility. But we're not gonna do the repairs to the public facility, we're gonna do it to the Middle Rio. So I would think that we will need two line items, one for the Middle Rio and one for, the, public facility. Don't you think so?
Yes.
Because later on you ask me where did you spend this money, it says public facility, and then I don't know, I forget, but.
Just make sure that you follow up with me and Mr. Pereira so that we can make sure that we clarify that.
Right, because that big expense is gonna be in the Middle Rio, and you're gonna see it there, well, what did you buy it for? $50,000, so they don't forget.
Judge, question.
Yes, sir.
On the parking lot, Middle Rio, are we gonna survey it, or we're gonna do the whole thing being that some of the property belongs to somebody else?
No, we had a survey done already. When we purchased the building, we had a survey done and Mr. Hell had gotten us that information, so we're gonna follow those, refresh my recollection, what is it called? The meets and bounds
The boundaries.
for that particular, thing, because we have, there's Ziggy's, so
Right.
a certain part belongs to them.
Thank you.
Also, we're continuing with the lights, Judge, and they're the work patrol. And I believe you also advised me that the contract was ready or something?
We're waiting on Donato to get us a contract, yes.
Sorry.
No, you're fine, that's the attorney that you guys used in the past, so. That's the bed we made and we gotta sleep in it, sir. Any other comments?
So,
Motion by Commissioner Juan Carmona, is there a second?
second.
Second by Commissioner Uranda. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. 3.1, financial monthly report. I'm going to table that item. Mr. Pereira's not here. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Alonso Carmona. All in favor? Any opposition? 3.2, motion carries. 3.2, discussion and appropriate action, budget adjustment number 70, public facilities.
Judge, as you know, we've been making a lot of improvements, and we're running low on funds on there. So we're taking the 90,000 from the capital equipment and putting it into the building.
Commissioner, this one in particular, just so for the purposes of transparency and the finances, on the roof improvement, that's just so that we can lay that ceiling for now until we actually have a full repair of the roof, correct? That you're asking for capital equipment to be transferred for improvement,
Right.
for the roof improvement.
Right.
But it's just for that ceiling that you and I discussed about, correct?
No.
It's not to completely fix the roof.
It's complete, that's the amount we need to, yeah, the total amount for the whole building,
No, but for what though?
for you and.
No, I understand that, but for what? What in particular are you gonna use that for?
For the roofs. We had accumulated, I think,
Allocated.
Allocated 125,000 or 135,000. And with those 90,000, they'll give us a 255 that we need for the whole roof.
I see what you're saying.
Because we only had put so much on the roof, and it was a little bit more.
So essentially, this money is just to add to the fund
Right.
that we need to repair the entire roof.
Yes, ma'am.
Because remember you called me in regards about putting some kind of seating
Yes,
just
ma'am.
temporarily until we approve the actual
Right.
bid for the roof. So this fund that you're requesting is to just supplement the pot that we have to pay for the entire roof.
For the entire roof.
Okay. You understand?
Sorry, I have a hard time explaining myself.
It's okay. Patience is a virtue. I'll entertain a motion.
Motion.
Motion by Commissioner Uranda. Is there a second?
Second.
Who? Second. Second by Commissioner Alonso Carmona. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. Claim docket 3.3, we have the public safety for $887.71. Are there any questions? I'll entertain a motion.
Motion.
Motion by Commissioner Uranda. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Juan Carmona. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. I will entertain a motion and, yes, sir.
Judge, just for your information, when you talk to Donato, they told us that all those air conditioners were new, and some of them are not.
The air conditioners for what? Okay. No, he's saying Border Patrol, not Middle Rio Grande. He said Middle Rio Grande, you said Border Patrol.
No, for the middle también, pero the ones that I'm talking about, supposedly they got a whole bunch of money, and they were supposed to put all those new air conditioners.
No, they haven't advised us. Yeah, they haven't advised us.
Just for your information, when we talk to the matter.
I sure will. Can I have a motion to recess and adjourn the public facilities meeting? Motion by Commissioner Alonso Carmona, is there a second? Second by Commissioner Odena, all in favor? Any opposition? Motion carries, this meeting has ended, the time is 12:49. Thank you very much, gentlemen, you'll have a good afternoon.